Hey, hello. So, amygdala hijack, and that's the topic for today's talk. So, has this ever happened to you? Do you even know about what it is? Let me tell you. Did you know that on average, they reckon that about 1,800 people a year worldwide, I think this figure's probably more, get killed because of a road rage incident. And 30 people in the United Kingdom, that's where we are based, are murdered due to road rage murder. I mean, that's crazy, right? So 1,800 people a year get killed because of road rage, and 30 people get murdered because they've had a road rage murder, and it's taken place like it's gone one step further than that. And all it is a limbic amygdala reaction. And it's when our mind takes over and it does stuff that we would never, ever, ever, ever do or really ever do again. And we end up feeling really bad about it. Well, you would feel really bad about it if you've murdered someone, right? Or someone gets killed because they've been involved in a road rage incident. But this does happen a lot. And you know, it's pretty much not just road rage incidences that we're talking about. It's pretty much like when things get out of hand, and just like that, you may turn super aggressive, threatening, and it becomes quite physical, and it can happen in minutes or even seconds, and someone can trigger you and then you regret what happens for the rest of your life. And the most famous incident is the Will Smith incident that took place last year. You know, Will Smith, it hit a nerve, he got up, he punched someone in public. It just happened to be in front of millions of people across the world. And within seconds of doing it, he totally regretted it and then had to pretty much try and save his career. But, you know, famous people aren't the only people that have this happen. It happens all the time. And it's just simply known as an amygdala hijack. And it's where the limbic amygdala, which is the center for fear and aggression in our brain, just suddenly responds with a physicality. And generally, what it's actually doing is it's doing its job, right? It's what's helped us survive as human beings for thousands of years. But like 500 years ago, when we were chased by a bear, or there was a wolf behind us, we'd get out of it. Our survival zone would be to run really quickly and to get yourself out of that predicament or that situation. But unfortunately, our brains haven't really caught up with modern day life. It doesn't really know that we don't have to react that severe, that we're not really under that much pressure. Unfortunately, if we are in an environment that is violent, where there's domestic or emotional abuse, perhaps you were a child and you grew up in that kind of environment, what does happen is that our limbic amygdala is set on severely sensitive. It's set on high. And what happens is that when the information processes through our frontal lobe or our prefrontal cortex, it just cannot process quick enough because we're always on hyper alert, okay? We're always scanning for potential threats. So basically the limbic part of our brain, our prefrontal cortex, shuts down, and that executive functionality, that like the part of the brain where we might do long-term planning, we're trying to problem solve, it goes on impulse control, and it all just shuts down. So when the thinking part of the brain shuts down, the animal part of the brain takes over, and it is primitive, it's aggressive, it's primal, and it gets us into really difficult situations. Unfortunately, generally, those people that stand in our way are our family, our friends, or our colleagues. And that causes catastrophic symptoms. And it's almost like the way it works is like it's killing a mosquito with a bazooka, right? Okay, it's totally out of proportion. But these situations just mean that your amygdala is set on high. And when you've had major trauma in your life and it's been ongoing over a long period of time, this is exactly the kind of responses that we see. And we see this on a daily basis with the clients that come and work with us and the clients that we presently work with. You know, so the more stress we have in our body, the more or larger the response is. So if this really resonates with you today and it's something that is really getting in the way of life, you know, there are some serious body implications too about having an amygdala hijack. Like we have increased heart rate. So it makes it really hard for the rest of the body to get the right amount of blood. It puts stress on our muscles. It dilates our airways. Our pupils dilate. We sweat profusely. We reduce our glucose. You know, we increase our digestion. We have this heightened sense of awareness all the time. And it also dampens our pain sensations. I remember a very specific example is I was missing a flight, and it was during 2010 when the volcanoes were erupting across the world. And I knew I had a ticket for a flight, and I was actually stranded in South Africa trying to get back to the UK. And the flight attendant said to me, "You've got 10 minutes to make this flight. They're closing. Otherwise, you'll be here for weeks." And I remember running through passport control and getting through the airport and getting to where they were closing the flight, and we just made it, and they were like, get your luggage on, give me your passport. And I remember getting on the flight, and about 10 minutes later being so hot and sweaty and so worked up, and suddenly my hand was just like starting to swell, and I'd actually broken my knuckle and hadn't even realized it. So that was a real amygdala hijack moment. I knew if I didn't make this flight, what would happen? My job was at risk. Would I get home, etc., etc. So there are major repercussions for us, body and brain wise, especially when we have an amygdala hijack. But it is totally, completely normal. It's where our brain is just misinterpreting and our body's misinterpreting our threat level. But if this is happening to you and this is something that you really need to focus on, then please do book a consultation with us. At the end of this live, I will put the link where you can watch our free masterclass on root cause trauma and how we use neuroplasticity to help you recover. We have a fantastic success rate. We have 95% success rate with the clients who join us in our program, and we would love to be able to work with you and to help you. So guys, have an amazing Monday. I hope that or whenever you get to watch this video across the world, as many of our videos are, but I love to hear from you, and have a super awesome day. Cheers then. Bye.